and gentlemen, depending on who you speak to today, the budget announced by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is either a dream budget, a budget for the ages, or a dismal one with no direction. But the truth, as always, is somewhere in the middle. There is a clear effort by the government to create jobs which are critical not just for our economy, but for our society as well. So that is a good thing. The government, though, has fallen short of giving any major relief to taxpayers. Yes, tax slabs have been revised, but there is nothing tectonic. And if you are in the market to sell your house, God save you. But that is not what caught the attention of the opposition today. What had them absolutely hopping mad was the amount of love and money that was showered on two states that are critical to the Modi government's survival at the center, Andhra Pradesh and Bihar. Now, Bihar's special status dream came partially true after Nirmala Sitharaman announced 60,000 crore rupees for various projects, new airports, 3 expressways, heritage corridors, and even a power plant in Bhagalpur. Nitish Kumar said he was happy. Not just Bihar, another ally, Andhra Pradesh, has been showered with funds as well. Most of Mr. Naidu's wish list has been fulfilled. 15,000 crore rupees have been allocated for Andhra Pradesh's under-construction capital, Amravati. The finance minister has said on the floor of the House that more money will be given in the future. Ms. Sitharaman has also said she's fully committed to the completion and the financing of the Polavaram irrigation project, which is a lifeline for farmers in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Also, 3 districts in the state will be given backward region grants. Mr. Naidu is saying this is like oxygen for the state.
మనస్ఫూర్తిగా ఈ సభ ద్వారా కేంద్రానికి ధన్యవాదాలు కృతజ్ఞతలు తెలియజేస్తున్నాను. ఈ బిగినింగ్ మాత్రం వెంటిలేటర్ పై నుండి ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ రాష్ట్ర ఆర్థిక వ్యవస్థకి ఇప్పుడు ఆక్సిజన్ ఇచ్చారు. ఇది ఆక్సిజన్ మాత్రమే, ఇది ప్రారంభం మాత్రమే. ఇక్కడి నుంచి మనం కూడా కష్టపడాలి. మనం కష్టపడాలి, కేంద్రం సహకరించాలి. ఈ రెండో తీసుకొని మనం ముందుకు పోవాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది.
Now the opposition is calling this largest to the 2 allies Prime Minister Bachao Yojana, essentially saying that the budget has been designed to please the ones who are keeping the government afloat. Listen in.
ओवरऑल देखूं या हिस्सों में देखूं, ये बजट फिर से निराश करता है हमें। आज देश के समक्ष सबसे महती समस्या है बेरोजगारी को लेकर के। एक ऑर्गेनिक मॉडल जो होना चाहिए था एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन का, शायद इनके विजडम इंडेक्स में फॉल ही नहीं करता है, समझते ही नहीं है। कॉपी पेस्ट कर लिया कुछ हम कांग्रेस के मैनिफेस्टो से, कुछ हमारे मैनिफेस्टो से, तो एक्नॉलेज करो ना भाई, फिर आधा अधूरा क्यों? स्पेशल स्टेटस की जब हम बात करते हैं उसमें कई तरह के बेनिफिट्स हैं जिसको बिहार की जरूरत, आज बिहार को उसकी जरूरत है। कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स एक्सम्पशन है, कस्टम एक्साइज से है, और तरह की टैक्स हॉलीडेज हैं, 90% ग्रांट स्टेट सेंटर बेयर करता है, और भी कई तरह। वो बिहार की आज की जरूरत है। आप उस जरूरत को समझ नहीं पा रहे हैं। आप रेटोरिक में जीना चाहते हैं और लोगों को जिलाना चाहते हैं। बिहार आज चीटेड फील कर रहा है।
देखिए, जब तक किसान और नौजवानों के पक्की नौकरी का इंतजाम नहीं होगा तब तक कोई बड़ा लाभ नहीं पहुंचेगा जनता को।
आपको लगता है कि असेंबली चुनाव जब होने वाले हैं आगामी, उसमें ये बजट असर करेगा, इनकी नीतियां असर करेंगी?
स्वाभाविक है, क्योंकि सरकार जब चलती है सरकार के फैसलों से असर पड़ता है।
के अलायंस 230 कुल मिलाकर कितने पार्टियां थे? 25, 26 पता नहीं, मैं गिनी नहीं, बट इंडी 37 पार्टीज कुल मिलाकर के 230 पार नहीं किया, और वो बोल रहे हैं कुर्सी बचाने के लिए। जब प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी तीसरी बार प्रधानमंत्री बने और देश के लिए इतना घोषणा भी कर रहे हैं जिससे भारत देश का हर राज्य सामने आए, डेवलप हुए, और 1.50 लाख करोड़ इस बार बजट में स्टेट्स के लिए हम दे रहे हैं बिना इंटरेस्ट 50 साल के लिए फ्री। फिनांस कमीशन तो हमारे उनके सजेशन में इसका जिक्र तक नहीं किए, हम ही कर रहे हैं स्टेट्स के साथ काम करने के लिए। हर स्टेट का उनके अपने अपने प्रोजेक्ट्स जो प्रोसेस के चलते हुए आता है उन सबको हम मानते हैं और जरूर उनको जो फाइनेंस करना है वो हम करेंगे।
Straight across to Congress MP Shashi Tharoor, who's joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Tharoor, I saw your tweet this evening. You're calling the budget underwhelming when there is so much focus on jobs by the government. That's a good thing. Why is it underwhelming then?
Well, unemployment is clearly the most important issue facing the country today, and I'm certainly glad the government has acknowledged that. But the truth is that the ideas they took from us out of our budget, out of our manifesto, have been diluted in ways that we wish they hadn't been. For example, we had an apprenticeship scheme that would have paid everybody ₹1,00,000 a year. They've diluted that to an internship scheme. An apprenticeship scheme prepares you for a job. An internship scheme is merely an assistance down to ₹5,000 a month. On top of that, some of that money can be spent out of CSR funds by the company, and that's money that really should be devoted to addressing social ills and not just money they can spend on themselves, which is what the companies can now do. So that's a dilution. We had also offered an idea for an employment-linked incentive, which would have given a tax credit to companies for hiring people, for more employees. They have now instead reduced that to an EPFO contribution, so that's also a dilution. Some of these ideas, in other words, are not going to do enough to tackle the unemployment crisis facing our country, which is horrendous. 44.3%, 45.3% of our young people have no work. 44% of graduates have no work. And that's a terrible situation that the government's measures, we don't feel, will go far enough to address. But at least they've acknowledged unemployment. Back in 2016 in the Lok Sabha, I had suggested to Mr. Arun Jaitley that he should abolish or at least significantly reduce the angel tax. It took them 8 years to do what I suggested then, so at least on that I can be happy. It's an idea whose time apparently has come. It should have come a long time earlier. We need to encourage more investment in our economy in order to generate more jobs. And there just isn't enough of that. In fact, FDI has gone down on this government's watch colossally. Today, real FDI levels, after $44 billion of withdrawals by foreign investors, have come down to levels that not seen since 2006. So there's a real crisis of getting both foreign investment and domestic investment in ways that can actually generate jobs for our people, particularly our young people. And that remains for me a matter of very, very major concern.
Mr. Tharoor, as the opposition, it is you have every right to criticize this budget on various aspects. But why call it the Kursi Bachao budget? The finance minister is saying that this is not a budget for two states. Bihar and Andhra Pradesh need the money, therefore they are getting it.
No, the question is, we don't begrudge the fact that Bihar and Andhra are getting allocations, for God's sake. What we begrudge is the fact there are 26 other states and 8 other union territories which have nothing to be happy about in this budget. That's the problem. We would love to get the same kind of attention. When Bihar gets a highway project, we'd like, Kerala to get one. When Andhra gets an irrigation project, we'd like Karnataka to get one. I mean, the truth is that you can't only favor states that you happen to be ruling in or dependent on for your government to survive. That's the point we're trying to make. But look, there are larger issues. You know, the government's capital expenditure for infrastructure, the government wants us to applaud them. But what's been happening to our infrastructure of late? You're looking at a crisis, as you know, Shreya, where the Delhi airport terminal 1 collapsed. You've got 2 other airport canopies in Rajkot and Jabalpur collapsing. You've had 5 bridges in Bihar that have collapsed. You're looking at a situation where the Mumbai Trans-Harbour link, which was inaugurated by the PM in January, has already developed cracks, where the Pragati Maidan, which was inaugurated by the PM less than 2 years ago, has developed major seepages. So what is this capital expenditure worth if it doesn't actually generate enduring, lasting assets of which every Indian can be proud? My concern, Shreya, very simply, is that you really need a serious look at what you're claiming in your budget speech. The finance minister talked about how tourism is going to be created through all this capital expenditure and infrastructure. But if your infrastructure is collapsing on your tourists, what are you going to be doing for tourism in our country, you tell me?
Okay, my last question to you is one that impacts India's urban middle class. Income tax slabs have been revised. There'll be marginal gains for the middle class, but at least that's something, and something is better than nothing.
It's very marginal when you're looking at a country where 80% of the population claim their income has gone down in the last 10 years, and where, frankly, you're looking at food price inflation of 9.4%. That in our country is serious, because the vast majority of our ordinary people spend 70 to 80% of their budget on food. And if the cost of food goes up by 9.4%, that simply means they will eat less than they ate last year. And each year it's going up, Shreya. The government has to think very seriously about the colossal income inequality in our country, which is worse than it was in the days of the British Raj. They have to think in terms of the fact that the income, the real income in the hands of people at the bottom of the pyramid has absolutely collapsed thanks to their policies. You're giving massive tax cuts to the corporates and to the billionaires. What have you done for the ordinary poor people? Absolutely nothing. Their purchasing power hasn't gone up at all.
Okay.
The finance minister didn't even mention Manrega in her speech. And Manrega is one where the demands of the rural poor for work that will pay them some decent living wage and allow them to live in dignity has all disappeared.
Okay, Mr. Tharoor, always good to speak to you here on Mirror Now. Thank you very much for your views on the budget that has been presented by Nirmala Sitharaman. Thank you very much. Going across to my guest this evening, Karan Verma is an author, will be joining us on the broadcast. Deepak Reddy is the national spokesperson of the TDP with us on the show this evening. Riju Dutta is a national spokesperson of the TMC, and Anshul Avijit is spokesperson of the Congress party. Anshul Avijit, is it fair for the Congress party and other opposition parties to call this budget two states ka budget, kursi bachao budget? The fact is, Andhra Pradesh is cash-strapped. We all know that. They have a capital which is still under construction. They need the money. Why begrudge them that money? Bihar, for example, God knows this, that if there is one state that could do with more roads and e-ways, it is the state of Bihar. Why begrudge them the grants that they are being given? The finance minister says it is the center that will decide the priority, not the opposition.
No, nobody's begrudging what has been given to two particular states. One of them is Bihar, and I'm from there. So more help to Bihar, and I know it's what it's like over there. More help to Bihar is always welcome. It's the fact that India is a union of states, and there has to be a more equitable distribution of wealth and resources. It's as simple as that. And here you have two states where actually it's the intent of the government, and you've called this a political budget, the intent of the government here is completely exposed, because here are two allies which have supported the government and are part of the NDA government at the moment. And here they stand exposed in the kind of help they're giving. This is actually, talking about Bihar and Andhra, the budget is actually an intent. There's an intention, there are allocations. What actually happens there, nobody knows at the moment. This is a particular kind of signaling to pacify the noises that are coming. This is a half measure for Bihar, because what Bihar wanted, what we wanted, was actually a special status. What it actually deserved was a special status. So it's a half measure anyway. And what about infrastructure over there? They say that they're going to build infrastructure. It doesn't mean that it's going to be built. 9 bridges have collapsed, as something which was pointed out earlier. 9 bridges have already been collapsed over there. So it's actually what happens in the end is what we'll wait and see. The larger point is that this is, to me, a confessional budget, that the government has finally confessed and admitted and acknowledged that of policy failure for the last 10 years of the Modi government, that unemployment was a huge problem after demonetization, after the rollout of the GST, after completely flattening the MSMEs, and after the manufacturing slump. Unemployment became a huge problem, but they didn't mention it or tackle it. Right? So right now they've actually admitted that it is a failure on their part. It is extreme incompetence, that they do not understand macroeconomics, that the Prime Minister himself doesn't, because we know that all schemes probably emanate from there, certainly demonetization and the rollout of the GST. It did. So unemployment is the recognition of the fact,
the government
but it's
focuses
too
on
far
jobs.
too late.
No, Okay, Anshul Avijit, but the fact is that the government focuses on jobs, and you say this is a confessional budget because they haven't not been able to do anything in the last 9 years, which is why the focus on jobs. Now, अरे किया है तो अच्छी बात है ना, but Deepak Reddy, national spokesperson of the TDP, the charge that is coming by way of the BJP-led central government, and even to you in some cases, is is the fact that this is essentially a transactional relationship. Andhra Pradesh wanted special status. That special status has not come, but special finances have come for Andhra Pradesh and Bihar, two states that are keeping the government at the center afloat. Do you accept it? Do you accept the narrative that the opposition is building right now?
Very good evening, Shreya, to you and everybody. I've actually been listening to the comments of the members of the India ecosystem. All sorts of comments. Some say we don't even have houses to live in. Some say we don't have hospitals to go. Some say we don't have schools to go. So with all the chaos, they're trying to portray what we have in India. One of their MP also commented saying that this budget is nothing but a copy of what the Congress has in store. So it's pretty much clear that you can't take these people seriously. They're just commenting for the sake of commenting. And what is happening here is they are trying their level best to somehow create differences between TDP and our ally BJP. So, I mean, they keep throwing all sorts of things. So now they say the 15,000 crores, we've been given a special treatment and all that. But if you see, it's not a grant which was given. It is something they would help us get some loans. And if you see a lot of the things which are there, so they want us to come out with certain complaints in a way where our relationship would again start developing some cracks. But we are not going to do that because our relationship is extremely mature. This is the third time we are in government together in alliance. So we know what we want, and our agenda is very clear. So continuously every day, right from the day the election results have been declared, they have an ulterior motive to somehow, create these differences. So let me clarify a couple of things. So what we are getting is something, nothing really what we actually need. If you see the city of Amravati, the development, it requires almost 1 lakh crores. But a 15,000, we are taking it in a very sportive manner. And our leader Chandrababu Naidu ji and Lokesh ji have really welcomed it. And we are thankful to the central government for starting off. So this is a relationship where we are in it to build the nation and the state together. So this is not just a freebie what they're giving to us. So BJP is also part of the Andhra Pradesh government. It is a government we are formed together. So and Polavaram, it is a national project. So there is no special thing what they're doing there, and not just for Andhra Pradesh. That particular project gives water to 2-3 other states. So there is also a plan to take the Godavari water all the way to Karnataka and Tamil Nadu also. That's like a river with excess water.
Okay.
So yeah. So I want to make it clear that we don't want to fall prey or fall into the trap.
I think you're making a fair point.
Into the in the ecosystem, but we are very thankful.
You're making a fair point. Okay, you're making a fair point, but given the fact that there was, that there has been a special allocation made for Andhra Pradesh and not for other states, is something that is irking other states that is being ruled by the opposition. For example, West Bengal. Riju Dutta, you have the spokesperson for the TDP here saying we need this money. Other states don't have an issue where they don't even have a capital. Our capital is still under construction. We obviously need the money. The other large chunk of money that is going to Andhra Pradesh is for a national irrigation project that helps the farmers. Why begrudge us these funds? And fact is, you can keep calling it Kursi Bachao budget, etc., etc. But friends help friends and allies help allies. If the Congress party was in power today, they would have helped the TMC. This is the way of the world.
No, look what TDP is saying. Kudos to them. Thumbs up to them. Thumbs up to Chandrababu Naidu Garu for getting his pound of flesh, because he is one of the key people who is keeping this Milijuli Sarkar buoyant. And that is what we want to say. We are not against Bihar or Andhra Pradesh getting the money. This budget is a complete failure with zero warranty. It has no mission and no vision. It was presented by a failed finance minister of a failed government. So again, kudos to Nitish Kumar ji and Chandrababu Naidu garu for getting their pound of flesh, because this is a bribe by the BJP to these two tall leaders to keep their Milijuli Sarkar buoyant. But my question, my pain is that Bengal, with a population of 12 crore people, also pay taxes, also pay GST. The union government owes us 1,71,000 crores. They do not give us money. We are also equal contributors. Where is our share? We also need money for our roads. We also need money for our people. Manrega, you know, Shreya, we have had multiple debates where the union government has stopped Manrega funds of West Bengal for 59 lakh workers. Eventually, the state government had to pay for it. They have not cleared our Awas Plus funds. And this budget, Shreya, has nothing for the youth. It has nothing for the middle class. It has nothing for the poor. The medicine prices are still high. The vegetables and basic essential commodity prices are high. $83.65. Petrol 100 rupees and above. What is there in this budget? And the most important thing which nobody speaks about is that every day when we turn on our TV in the morning and the news channel, there's a railway disaster. People losing lives. You know, it's a parade of dead bodies. But not a single penny allocated to the infrastructure or to the recruitment in Indian railways, which is almost like a parallel government in this system. Nothing. This is only what Shubhendu Adhikari, the Bengal leader of opposition, said. Hum unke saath, jo hamare saath.
But that is the way of the world. Hum unke saath, jo hamare saath. And you say Milijuli Sarkar like it's a bad thing. And like it's a novelty. Just go back into India's history and go back into India's history and see how many times this country has been ruled by Milijuli Sarkar. It's not necessarily a bad thing, you know.
Shreya, only one humble submission before you go to anybody else is that we have no issues with jo hamare saath hum unka saath. Then don't practice or preach sabka saath sabka vikas. Don't give us that BS. That's all we are saying.
Karan Verma, would you want to respond to that?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Shreya, is it for me?
Karan could... Yes, that was for you in case you heard Mr. Riju.
Okay, now I'm able to hear you. So, you know, Shreya, I've heard so much of lies and half-truths peddled here. It's unbelievable. When Mr. Riju Dutta talks about, you know, even we have our roads to build, well, they don't ostracize businessmen away. I mean, West Bengal, which contributed 25% to industrial output, in 1947, it's come down to 3%. You are lagging behind in proportion of your population for the last 2 decades. You've driven businessmen away. The per capita income in West Bengal is 56% less than the national average. So you also need to look within when you talk about that. And the way they're talking about infrastructure, 11.11 lakh crores. You know, the standard calculation as per IMF and others is that when you have $100 million investment in infrastructure, you have close to 600 jobs that you generate. So if this is not a job multiplier, I don't understand what they mean by investment and creating jobs. This is the perfect textbook example of creating jobs. And this government, you know, even if they are talking about it right now, the RBI data suggests 4.7 crore jobs created in the last year, 25 crore jobs created in the last 10 years. The periodic labor force survey, unemployment record low at 3.1%. So these are the hard numbers, Shreya. You can come up with any kind of BS in terms the way Riju Dutta says, but the truth is these are the hard numbers. And the inflation also, it's been well under control.
No, you know the problem with the hard numbers.
Even though the economy is growing at 8.3%.
Karan, can I just say this?
Let's get our facts right here. Yeah.
Can I just talk about the hard numbers for a bit? You know, the problem with the unemployment data is that even if I've worked for 1 hour in a week, even 1 hour in a week, I'm considered employed, right? Even if I work for 30 days in a month, I'll be termed employed for the entire year. That is the problem with hard numbers as far as employment data is concerned. But that's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about the fact that there is criticism coming in from the opposition to say that you have 2 allies, you have to keep them happy. So the entire budget has been designed around them, while you have left everyone out. So stop saying sabka saath, sabka vikas.
So, of course, there have been political compulsions. I won't beat around the bush and, give some monkey balancing answer. But to say that other states have been left high and dry is wrong. When angel tax is removed, then a place like Telangana also benefits out of it, which is a hub for startups. Karnataka benefits out of it. When there is a Purvodaya scheme, even West Bengal benefits out of it. When we have climate-resistant cultivation in the agriculture sector being promoted, it's Punjab that benefits the most out of it. When we have an economic recovery package recovering from floods, where Himachal Pradesh, they made a mess. It's been a disaster the way Congress has managed. And, when they talk rich about the central government managing budgets, why don't they manage their budgets in the states well? Look at what has happened in Karnataka, where capex spending is down by 14%. Inflation is up from 3.7 to 6% in Karnataka. They've increased prices of every important good, whether it's milk, petroleum, everything. So, they make a mess. And then they preach to the BJP.
No, but there is a problem, na?
So first they need to set an example. Otherwise, they can't be
No.
having their house in order.
Okay, but is West Bengal wrong when they say that 1,17,000 crores the center still owes us? They are not giving us funds for Manrega, but they've gone ahead and given 15,000 crore rupees to Andhra Pradesh to build Amravati. So they may have a point there. But gentlemen, I just want you to wait because there's a piece of breaking news that is coming in and I'd want all of you to weigh in as well. After this windfall bonanza for NDA allies, which means the TDP and Nitish Kumar, it seems now that the India bloc is mulling a boycott of the NITI Aayog meeting. Tamil Nadu's Chief Minister, M.K. Stalin, has formally announced his boycott. He says he is boycotting the NITI Aayog meeting over what he is terming a discriminatory budget. Let me quickly get reactions from our guests who are joining us this evening. Anshul Avijit, is this the way to deal with it, that you boycott NITI Aayog meetings?
It's coming up with over the past few years on poverty, on inflation. I mean, that's hardly some kind of a model body which gives out accurate data all the time. So if they feel, if the partners of the India Alliance feel that they've been shortchanged, if they require more from the budget, then there's every reason to protest in the way they want. Why not? Look, the budget has, shortchanged the people of India in every single sense. If unemployment is our biggest problem, then there has to be a composite approach to unemployment. You can't wake up 10 years down the line. Look, this problem was flagged even before the pandemic. I know the pandemic is used as an alibi most of the time, but if you remember those screeching headlines before the pandemic, unemployment reached record levels. Did it mention it then? They let time lapse. They let a problem become even worse. And of course, it became worse. It became worse during the pandemic, and people were asking, why did India perform, of all emerging economies, the worst in the pandemic? That's because it was doing so badly even before it. So no wonder the GDP growth rate right now is a statistical illusion. Unemployment is high. Your FDI, for all of Prime Minister's outreach around the world, FDI is the lowest in about 16 to 18 years. It has never been so low as it is now. That's because of all your protectionism and the fact that you've interfered with your bilateral investment treaties. India is not attractive destination for investment in manufacturing. The jobs are not coming here from China. They're going to Southeast Asia. Manufacturing is a huge problem. There's slump in manufacturing and there's a slump in demand as well. The two factors which are actually the engines of the economy. Private investment has been
and I'm not saying
lowest.
that sab changa hai.
There are huge structural problems in the economy.
No, Anshul Avijit.
Education is another.
Okay.
Look, give me 2 more
yes,
minutes.
there are. Yes, there are. And I'm not saying that sab kuch changa hai. But do remember that India's stock market is amongst the best performing in the world. There's a reason for that. So while it's not sab changa hai, let's not exaggerate the problems of the Indian economy. Can I just get in Deepak Reddy here?
One last point, Shreya.
Can I just get in Deepak Reddy here? Just a minute.
See,
give me a minute. I just want to get in the TDP's national spokesperson here on the piece of news that is now breaking, that India bloc is planning to boycott the NITI Aayog meeting, which means all chief ministers who belong to the India bloc will not be showing up. I mean, I'm not sure if it impacts the health of the government in any way, but it's a point they're making. It seems they clearly are upset, Mr. Reddy.
That's not true. It's just, if you remember back in our younger days, there would be 1 or 2 students sitting in the class not allowing the others to actually, listen to the lecture and creating all sorts of nuisance. This is the behavior what the India ecosystem is like, doing now. You can see the way they're behaving in the parliament also. So they just want to, create this ruckus and, try to show it to the people that things are not as good. But let us talk certain facts. If you see today, the inflation from 10 years ago to now, from when the Congress was system was in power, the inflation has dropped from 10% to 5%. The forex reserves were 300 then, and now it is over 650 billion now. The exports are about 780 billion. Sensex is at one of the highest levels. The PMI index, it is at 16-year high. And then the per capita GDP was 1,500 back then and 2,500. Another one, the ease of doing business. Back then, we were at 142 in 2014. Now we rank at around 63rd. Yeah, we can do better, but it's not as bad as what these people are trying to project. The actual sins were done during their government time. So they have messed up. Yeah, they have messed up big time. So what's going on now?
No, but who has been? They may or may not have messed up, Mr. Reddy. Fact is that the BJP has been in power for the last 9 years, 10 years, and they are accountable for what has happened in the last 9 years, 10 years. And they can't say we are fixing historical wrongs, etc. But Riju Dutta, I'm giving you the last word again. Is this the way to deal with? I mean, why behave like a petulant child and say, "Mujhko usko wo mila, mere ko nahi mila, therefore I will not go for the meeting"? The NITI Aayog is a place where all states go, speak to the center. It's a collaborative forum. You discuss your issues. You try and find solutions. What is this petulant behavior?
Look, first of all, the Honorable Chief Minister of West Bengal has not yet taken a decision whether to attend NITI Aayog or not at the moment. But what I can say is that tomorrow all the India Alliance MPs will protest outside the parliament against this ghoosekhori budget or goose-giving budget, if I may put it that way. Anyways, that is number one. Number two, the federal structure of this country has been blown to smithereens. It's a two-way street, Shreya. The union government has to, India is a union of states, and the India government, if they believe in the federal structure, has to come 2 steps for the states to go 2 steps. You cannot just bulldoze everything all the time. Have you not learnt your lesson coming from 303 to 240? They should learn their lesson. Now they're 240. Next election, they'll not even get 120. So learn your lessons. Take the opposition in confidence, because you need the opposition to run the country. That's all we are saying. You cannot behave like this. Every state is paying. Forget Bengal. Bengal is ignored. Bengal is deprived because you cannot win Bengal electorally. What about Madhya Pradesh? What about Rajasthan? How many MPs they give to the union government? Has Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, even BJP-ruled states got a single penny? No. Only their alliance partners have been rewarded. Why? क्योंकि हमें सरकार में रहना है, नहीं तो हमारी कुर्सी चली जाएगी. This is blatant misuse of the union exchequer. That's all I can say. Blatant misuse of the union exchequer.
Okay, I think our viewers have heard every point of view on this show over the last 30-35 minutes, and they are wise enough to make up their minds. We don't set narratives here. Karan Verma, thank you very much for joining us. Deepak Reddy, good to have you on the show. Thank you very much. Riju Dutta, always good to have you on the show. And Anshul Avijit, thank you for your time here on Mirror Now as well.